Hello and welcome to this episode of Nick of Time. We're going to talk about Knicks versus Pistons game, the Knicks versus Raptors game, and then the in-season tournament game, which was Knicks versus Hawks. Now let's get into it. I would be really mad. I would honestly be very, very mad if the Mets did not come in clutch and sign Juan Soto on Sunday night. I would be really mad. I'm not that mad. I'm very disappointed in this team. I'm not throwing. I'm not going to go on a big rant, which you probably will hear me go on some big rants. This will be just. This might be a rant actually, but I don't know right now. I don't think it will, but I just want to. It's because we're at the end of the day, Knicks are 15-10. Their 5 games over 500. They have an easy schedule. So next time we could be talking, it could be like 17-11, and then we feel a little bit better, like something like that. But hey, I got some notes on the Knicks. Definitely. Transition defense, man. Yo, I think the Knicks have been one of the worst transition teams in the league. I'm not even looking at the statistics. I mean, I don't know if it's effort issues, if it's just like Tom Thibodeau is having an issue coaching them getting in transition. Is it chemistry? I have no clue right now in the transition defense. I'm not giving chemistry anymore. We're not even talk about it. The only chemistry I'm gonna talk about is the one I'm learning right now. It's not. We're not learning about chemistry. Is not in basketball right now. Every team's done. Every team chemistry's gone. Chemistry, we leave that for the teachers to teach. Chemistry for basketball, done. We don't need to talk about that anymore because there's 25 games in, man. Knicks team has gelled pretty well and pretty bad, and that's why we're talking about it. They're very inconsistent. But one thing they're very inconsistent about is transition defense, man. This team cannot get back on defense, and a team like the Hawks, a team like the Pacers, who are very fast, athletic, who will get out in transition, just a nightmare for the Knicks. And you cannot leave yourself at the dry against those teams because you're going to see a lot of those teams. A lot of those teams nowadays have a bunch of athletic guys who can also hit threes, but they're just going to run you in transition. That's the thing nowadays, and if the Knicks cannot guard that, they'll be very vulnerable. Maybe they'll win a game against the Bucks, who are slower pace, who also are very slow and unathletic. Like, not also, Knicks are athletic. I just don't know why they don't get back on defense. But like a team like the Bucks, where they're slow, they're not athletic. Like they don't want to get up and down. Like maybe a team like even the Suns, who are really they have scores. Let me get a bucket, like type team. They don't run you up and down the court. I don't know. I don't really know what other teams come to mind when I think of slow teams getting in action, other than the Knicks, of course. I mean, if the Knicks were to play the Knicks, they'd be pretty fine. They'd probably be able to beat each other because there's slow transition defense, the slow tempo versus the bad transition defense. So Knicks would be pretty good there. So Knicks are they just got to find ways to win at this point. We've got to just find ways to win. The Knicks just got to find ways to win because right now it's not very good, but you can fix that stuff in practice. When you're playing teams like the Raptors, playing teams like the Pistons, playing teams like the Hawks, you should find ways to win, and you should look at those inconsistencies, even with wins, after the game and talk about that in practice and focus on getting that win in the game. I mean, yeah, if Josh Hart, if this team looks flawed and Josh Hart or Cat can be backdoor, or Cat can't go to pick and roll. Okay, we'll look at that later, but right now we got to figure out how to get a win. So that's what Tom Thibodeau's got to be saying right now. I mean, let's find ways to win. We'll talk about that stuff, that flawed stuff in practice, which I could break down, but that's the stuff that they'll talk about in practice. But right now, it's about getting those wins on the board, make everybody feel better, and make practices be better when you're trying to learn those type of stuff. Just everything will be better. Yeah, I mean the Pistons game was a disgrace, man. That's a game you got to find a way to win there. But again, a fast team of the Pistons just outran them. It's just not a good matchup. And the Knicks, it's not like one team has or two teams have this thing where the Knicks can't guard. No, it's a bunch of teams are fast. Like I said earlier. So the Knicks are gonna have to see a lot of teams that are very fast up and down who can really run transition. The Knicks have to guard it. Man, I mean, it leaves open field goal shots, of course, layups. Old people. I mean, the people who hold on to the old days are going like, "Yes, Jack, we love layups and transition." No, but also the 3-point shot is going to be left open in the transition because the Knicks just try to guard one place and the ball. Like The Knicks need to do better getting back to transition. That's the bottom line. Getting back to transition is the bottom line for this Knicks team. Um, Precious at the five. Well, let me start with the first thing of Dace Daniels versus Jalen Brunson was one of the best defensive master classes I've seen on Jalen Brunson my entire life. Jason Daniels is one of the best defenders in the league. I understand it, but the way he guarded Brunson was impressive. I didn't think he could guard Brunson like that. I thought he was gonna get a step off a screen. Nothing. You were trying to set screens and nothing was happening. You would also talk about the offense. Why did we not target Trae Young more? Why did the Knicks not target Trae Young more? I don't know. Man, there's gotta be. You gotta find a. This is coaching right now. Like, why didn't they target? Why didn't they target Trey more? Why couldn't we call timeout? We're on a run, like when another team's on the run. I mean, it's just, man. It comes out of coaching, comes out of performance on the court as well. But yeah, Daniels versus Brunson defensively. Brunson got locked up today. Last time the Knicks played, got locked up, got straps on. Dice Daniels is amazing, man. Wingstop was dead for the Knicks. Dead. Yeah, they should give that name to the Hawks. Man, Jalen Johnson had 2 good blocks. Um, Dice Daniels, as we talked about, is a great defender, and they just play great defensively together. I know it sucks. The guy on the screen is Trae Young, but they do play well defensively. They have Trae Young, who's a bad defender. It stinks, but they can work with that. They can definitely work with that about people having around them, like a Dice Daniels, like a Jalen Johnson, who can defend their tails off. So it will make Trae Young have a little bit less pressure defensively. Um, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know what do you do with Precious at this point? Because he's a 5, and he can't get boards. But when you put him at the 4, it's like the spacing's not there. I like the Precious 4-5 with Cat. I think they should play that the whole entire time. Precious never be the 5. Never, ever be the 5. I think that's what you got to do. First, you got to look at it. That's my first thing about Thibs. I got to look at that. I'll be like, look, should Precious ever play the 5 again for my team? No. Because he just got killed on the boards. I feel bad, man. He plays hard. He tries. But, man, there's not a lot you can do when you're 6'8", and Nyeko Kongu out there, and Dyson Daniels 6'7", almost. He's a little bit taller than Dyson Daniels. So I feel bad. I mean, there are people driving at him. They're scoring at will. I feel bad because it makes him look like a bad defender. He's not. He's a good perimeter defender. Can add an extra help layer. But if he's a number 1 defender, he's the anchor for you guys. It's for a team. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. It never did. Never was working, and it never worked against the Hawks. They got 5 offensive rebounds in crunch time. Maybe that was with Cal on the floor, but I mean, that kind of goes to the next point I have. Is fatigue, man. This whole 55,000 minutes to Josh Hart, 55 million minutes to Mikal Bridges, like 35,000 minutes to Cat. That doesn't work anymore because people get fatigued. Athletes get fatigued. I know it stinks. I mean, these are most well-contained, well-trained athletes in the world, but they're gonna get fatigued at some point. You can't play them that many minutes. You just cannot. Because it comes down to a game like this, it doesn't just injuries happen. Okay, we understand that, but when this team is fatigued, this fourth quarters like that happen when they get absolutely outboarded, they get absolutely out hustled by a team that wants it more. All the Hawks had to do. I don't even know if the coach said that. I don't even know if this is true. I heard this. The coach said something along the lines of, "We're gonna keep this thing close because." We know in the third, fourth quarter, we're going to be the team that's fast for the first goal. We're going to be the team that's going to out hustle them. That's not to say the Knicks can't hustle. That's not to say the Knicks aren't trying. It's to say that Tom Thibodeau plays his guys too many minutes. So once you get to the third and fourth quarter and the starters are back out there and it's logging Cat's 40th minute for the 15th game, there's not a lot you can do. You start to feel fatigued, and that's when the hungry team like the Hawks, with a bunch of athleticism and a bunch of rebounding and They eat you alive. So shout out to them. They did a great job. They out hustled us. They were after every first ball. So give them a big shout out before I absolutely go crazy on the refs, because I don't want to say that's the reason we lost. So even I'm going to put this in my perspective before we go out on the refs. Go at the refs. This is not why they lost. Whenever I go have my rant on the refs, this is not why they lost. The Knicks didn't play well, obviously, but I think there should be calls. We'll talk about that later, but that's not why the Hawks just outplayed us, out rebounded us. Man, they really dominated the Knicks. It was not fun. It was not a fun watch, because the Knicks had stretches where they looked great, but again, they kept it close. And at the end of the game, they were the faster team. They were the more hungry team, and they were the faster first ball. Yeah, Knicks are flawed. I think other than fatigue, I get it that it can be like you can play players less minutes, but they're flawed, man. Pressure at the 5 is a big reason they're flawed. And is your wings really that good of a defense? That wing's gonna no, it's not. It's like it's flawed, but I would get it. I would not be that scared if this team was locked up for the next 5 years. It's gonna be locked up for the next 5 years. And we're not. There's no changes that's gonna happen. This is the roster. What's in house gonna win you a championship? Unless maybe you make a marginal move, you trade Mitch, but how healthy is he gonna get out? Will the team really want him? Like, I don't know. But this is a team that's gonna win you a championship. So yeah. As I said, they wanted it more. But let me talk a little bit about the NBA refs. Let me talk about why. Or maybe that's a reason why the NBA ratings are dropping. Is because these refs just don't have consistency. So at one point, you'll have the other end of the court, DeAndre Hunter will be getting fouled. Obviously it's a foul, but I mean, I understand it. But on the other end, Knicks are getting whacked. I mean, the foul DeAndre Hunter for this game was a ticky-tack. Okay, whatever. You want to call it a ticky-tack foul? We could call it, but if we call on the other end. But on the other end, Precious Achiuwa and Josh Hart are getting absolutely hit, absolutely demolished. So I don't understand where the consistency is with the refs. That is why the ratings are going down. Not the sole reason why, but probably like a 50-40% reason why. These refs do not know how to do not know how to ref basketball right now. It's a bad thing. And especially bringing back those refs that refed against the Houston Rockets game where the Aaron Holiday chuck-up shot that they called for a foul, and the Knicks lost that game against the Rockets and all the big thing. But man, I just don't like the NBA refs right now. I think they just are unqualified. I'm not that guy that will always go crazy on the refs, but I had to, man. This game looked like prison ball. This game looked like something you would see down the street at Rucker Park. It was not good. And again, it's fine. You want to play Rucker Park basketball? Go down there. But this is NBA basketball. Let's protect our players. Let's make sure they they don't get hit every time, because on the other end, they actually, you know what? Oh, Jack, they're just getting hit. They're gonna be healthy soon. Even if they get hit a little bit, it's hit to the wrist. Okay, what harm does that do? Deuce McBride got his knee bent. I don't even know what it was. He fell on his knee. Somebody fell on his knee. And knee problems for McBride it came up kind of surprisingly this season. So having a guy fall on your knee is not good. So Deuce McBride went to the locker room because of the prison ball that is played. Injuries are gonna happen. Injuries are gonna happen, but those injuries cannot happen. Those cannot happen. You gotta call the game how the game is supposed to be called. It's not prison ball. It isn't. But it also isn't ticky-tack foul ball. You gotta find a middle ground, and you gotta find consistency in that as well. Because yes, you'll call the game great on one side, but then you'll call the game trash on the other. So it's like, where's the consistency? Better consistency by the refs. Just need better player safety when it comes to these fouls. Prison ball was terrible. This was awful. So yeah, see you guys later. That's going to do it for this episode of Nick of Time. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you are as big as a Knicks/NBA fan as me, because I'll be pumping out this content every week and all season long. Peace, have a nice day, and let's go Knicks.